Folks, greetings from the village. uh, Second recording of the year. You people speak of 2026. The year is right, maybe not, but the months are not right. So, have you ever had a moment to think or reflect about uh, radio as it were when you were growing up? Of course, I'm a millennial. I don't want to force myself to say I have a Gen Z blood. How does a Gen Z blood look like? Got Gen Z. So conversations during growing up on radio were pretty much something that you could relate with, and they were deep, they were touching, and they were flawless, and they didn't look like they were researched. And news on radio was something else. I mean, how things have changed. I think we've not really grown old. It's just that there's a generation that has failed to 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 go back in time and bring back what really is nice for the soul. And it might not be entirely the generation or the employees, but I guess it's the trend. It's what brings in money. It's what drives conversation. Sex, relationships, sex styles, or is it textiles? Dildos, feminism, and all that kind of stuff is what drives conversations in the early mornings and late into the night. We do not really have very tangible conversations, and it's basically very few radio stations that orchestrate such conversations, but then they let it flow into some very ambiguous conversations that you tend to ask yourself, where do you really have time for them? That's why I've found a habit of listening to international radio stations. China radio. I have a penchant for listening to the BBC radio. You can listen to this program or on any podcast from wherever you get it. It looks like programming. It looks like indoctrination when you look at all the other radio stations in maybe internationally. But sometimes you want news that is curated, that makes you that relates to you, that relates to your few. I wasn't gonna say this, but relates with the intelligence. It relates with how you've been brought up. Hey, Fox, you really wanna let me do this, or you'll keep? Okay, that's the last one. So you really want to listen to news, that radio that resonates with you. There's news here, there is a one or two research there, there's a reporting on how cooking, on how washing evolving, there's a reporting on conflict and how it's affecting children and women, and there's some news feature, there's a documentary on what do we call it, some trafficking somewhere in Cambodia. These are things that are possible to happen in our radio stations, but they're not given precedence. I don't like mediocrity, yo. I listen to something a little bit, I love it, and then if I don't love it, I let it go. Like, fuck off. Why should I put so much time and essence into it? What do we call it? We have some very nice local radio stations, and they have really, really nice programming. I'm from the Luo tribe, so I understand the Luo, and I can speak not entirely like a native, more like an intermediate. The Luo is wide, and you need a lot of time to sit with your folks and the native people just to bring that aura and that sense of the language from deep inside, you know, so that when you're speaking English and you're speaking the Luo, it's totally different, you know. Somebody doesn't feel like, oh, he's twanging, or he's speaking English and he's twanging. He's speaking the Luo and he's twanging. So that kind of thing. So conversations have really changed. I remember in some time early 2000, and something sparked me, and I was still, I think Roga was still there. We were in Kisii County, and we were somewhere in there's this car wash that was near Ram Hospital. There used to be a lot of car wash around Ram Hospital, and there were a lot of pool tables. Oof. This is not me exposing myself. I am sorry. I am not very old, but I'm saying I love the fact that you would easily find your community around the pool station, pool pop-ups, car washes, swimming pools. No, not the ones that you used to. Zile za mto, Dufam, is it Dufam Pararo or whatever they used to call them back then. Just call them Swimo, whatever it is. But the essence of it all is that radio has had a great impact on humanity since its elevation into traditional media and even modern media as it is. But let's talk about something. This really hurts. This is really painful. How did all these big companies, Samsung, Apple, is there another one? Okay, let me add in. Let me just add in. Okay, should I fix in Oppo or Huawei? What happened to just fixing that radio app? Fixing that radio app on the phone and allowing us to listen to radio without tuning in, without using Wi-Fi, folks. Why? What are you driving us into? What sort of indoctrination are you pushing us into? I think I've used that word 3 times now. Is it that bad? It's not. But you judge. But why did you all decide to remove just put the apps on the smartphones and just have the earphones on them? I mean, that would help you to push your numbers, you know. It's not that population that you're trying to force to download or to listen to radio through Wi-Fi doesn't listen does not listen to radio on Wi-Fi. It's the folks from 27 to 45, stretching all the way to 65. So bring back the radio on the smartphone and have what do you call it, the earphones Of course, you're not gonna use the earphones. I'll just take my smartphone, put it on top of a table or on top of some bench somewhere, and allow it to make loud music, and I'll listen to that radio comfortably. So that's a niche there. That's something you should focus on. And yeah, of course, I'll follow whoever takes this idea and implements it, because this is like some sort of a legacy idea I'm sharing with you. Don't push us into technology that is harmful, you know. These iPods, these things on the ear, you know, it's not for everyone, you know. Is iPod is for iPhone? Oh, I hope they don't come for me. I'm just in the village, y'all. So yeah, so a lot shapes conversations on radio. So that is another aspect. Radio on matatus. I remember during COVID, that was 2020. While staying in, I was staying in 126 Kiserian, and I used to go to work to along Mombasa Road, and things were pretty tough by then. You had to put on a mask, you had to wash your hands, yeah? You have to keep distance. I was trying to wonder how you'd keep distance in Mukuru kwa Njenga, Mukuru wa kwa Jega, and Mukuru kwa Ruben. How do you keep social distance? I mean, that place is stacked up like shit. So that couldn't happen. But there's something amazing. Like in the morning, there was this rush, because I had to leave the house around 5:30. I should be on stage by 6, and now that long stretch, almost, I used to do 80 kilometers every day. That is going to work and back, and a stretch of at least 5 or a kilometer walking to the house, or at least I could use a boda. Oh, good times are those. But there are drivers who would put on nice radio channels for us to listen in the morning. But of course, because not everybody can listen to the big channels, the big radios, from the BBC or China or Xinhua, and the alternative is you know them. You know them, but they're good. In the morning, they're good because it's what everybody is listening to, and it's the ability of you to laugh in the morning for no apparent reason, but because another man has been reported on a radio station because he's refused to do ABCD, or the girlfriend says, or the wife is, I still love him. Kiti, nimepiga simu kusema ya kwamba muambie mi bado nampenda, hata kama nilimkosea, lakini just mwambie tunampenda. Aki, niko tayari kurudi nyumbani, nilifanya makosa. And then the man replies, Kiti, hiyo mambo ya huyo msichana mimi sitaki. Ile mambo alinifanyia ni mbaya mpofu. Akae tu mahali anaweza kaa, lakini yangu na yake imeisha. Mimi sitaki kusikia mambo yake tena. Ati unasema nini? Ati umemsamea? Ati nini? And then, you know, how did we just get to the point of solving our relationships on radio? Does it work? I mean, okay, I've had some work, but I've listened to some and they don't work. They do not work. You become inebriated on radio and it does not work. Yani unapatiwa machungu kwa radio. The lady folk is like, no way, kuna vile tutarudiana. The man is like, nipatia second chance. So that's radio, and and it keeps evolving, and that's beautiful, you know. And it keeps evolving. It's beautiful. Of course, radio has to respond to every generation. That we accept, and resonate. But radio still remain radio, and radio is just sweet when it's not live. Okay, because you're forcing radio presenters to dress very smartly, and someone who's just comfortable with their slippers and shorts and some vests and some jacket, and they're very comfortable coming to radio too. Kama nimekuingilia, tafadhali nitumie ujumbe wa simu kwa nambari 0701 111 111. Is that a real number? If it's your number, then I'm sorry, I've given it out. But there's something beautiful about getting to see a radio presenter on the road shows, and you see them and you're like, "Oof, I've never seen." And you're like, wow, is that Munai General? Wow, is that Mwala? Oof, is that Maina? Nowadays you see them, they are live, wanarekodiwa na wadozi wao huko, halafu wanawekwa kwa mtandao. Radio is evolving, folks, and I think there's those broadcasts when those are done. The crew takes in the recording stuff and goes like to Maili Tisa or Tarbo or Runyenjes or somewhere in Maili, say Chwele, Western huko ndani, or to Muhoroni huko ndani, and they're recording live. They're in Muhoroni, you know. That's a pretty nice idea. That's pretty good. In essence, radio is powerful. A lot of people listen to radio, and we tend to seclude a majority of people listen to radio. That age from late 20s to 65 or huko mwisho huko, extremely senior citizens who love listening to radio because they listen to that voice that matters, that they believe is the voice of freedom. Yeah. The people who, if they do not listen to a particular radio, they don't feel well. You know? For me, if I'm in the village and I don't listen to a certain radio station, and I don't feel okay. Because then why did I go to the village? What brought you to the village? You know? Why should I go all the way to the village and listen to R&B station that is entirely speaking in English? No. That one you listen sometime later. But right now, just put on that local radio station and listen to it. Utamu tu. Yeah. So, is this the first part of radio that I'm talking about radio? It should be. Is it interesting? Let me know in the comment section, and let's have a deeper conversation about it. I hope one day I'll be a fan of recording podcast one-on-one when I'm entirely grown and I have a lot of resources to do that. So, kapwow! Kapuao, or is it Kapu?